Good evening, ninjas. How are you doing? This is Sylvia. Welcome to my world of fitness and lifestyle. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd day of October. Finally, September is gone and October is here. Now, today first and foremost, it's let me tell you what time it is. It's 1940. It's 7:40. I came in from work, showered, had dinner. I've already had dinner. Yes, and so I'm just chilling, relaxing. But that's usually my phone. The other phone inalianga the ringtone ni pesa zikiingia, pesa otas kwa hiyo simu. That is as in nakuangana na, what is it called, trying to attract money. So anywho, there's a conversation I feel like we are supposed to, I feel the need to have with you today, because it is so somber today. It's a reality today. I don't want to go into this conversation days after today. I just want us to have this conversation today. And this conversation is about SHIF, the Social Health Insurance Fund, what has transitioned from NHIF. For starters, I got my message from SHA today. I think the Social Health Insurance, the new unit that's going to be running SHIF. And let me tell you, my heart is broken. I'm literally feeling like I've torn and said goodbye to my payslip. I think back to the days when I used to love my payslip, and when I'd show it to my RM and they'd be like, whoa, this one you can get a good loan with it. And now I'm like, especially for the government officers, the civil servants and the public servants, you wake up every day to go to work, and half of what you earn is going to someone else. Because when you look at the amount of tax, you're paying the pay as you earn, okay? That is already way up there. And then there are others, others that have come that are a must, the ones that you nobody's asking you, nobody's giving you the option to say no. It is a rule, it is a principle, you must give these taxes. And it breaks my heart, because all the tears that were shed when people lost lives and loved ones during the maandamano, all that has gone to, it's nothing anymore. I mean, it doesn't mean anymore. I'm trying to switch this off so that it stops bothering us with all these messages coming in. All the maandamano and the times, the Gen Zs and everyone else of us that was supporting in one way or another, everything we did, nothing. I remember thinking to myself at that point when the finance bill was so-called rejected, and I thought to myself, this is just a tactic. A delay tactic, so to say. Because when when members of parliament were not recalled to entirely just reject it, I was like, maybe we are buying time, and then eventually all these things will just pass one by one. But what breaks my heart, I keep asking myself, NHIF was working perfectly fine the way it was. I keep going around in my head wondering what SHIF is going to do. Questions have gone unanswered, yet from the end of this month, people are going to start having deductions that are literally going to change lifestyles. And the government, and the other day on the Star, I think Friday last week on the Star, the headlines were how people should start organizing their payslips. Start rearranging, start cleaning your payslips. This is how I understand when somebody tells you start cleaning your payslip. is if you have loans like HELB, Maliza, clear them. If you have maybe bank loans, clear them. Just give me a minute to stop that music before I get copyright issues. I'm back, sorry. So what was I saying? Yeah, so when somebody tells you clean up your payslip, what they generally mean, in my understanding, is if you have any other loans, clear them, so that you do not go under the 1/3 rule. The 1/3 rule generally is one of the Kenyan laws where you should take home, what you take home from your basic salary after all the statutory deductions should never go under 1/3. All these deductions from the housing, what started being deducted, the housing, and now the SHIF is taking a lot of Kenyans below the 1/3 rule. What I'm hearing being said is clean up your pay slips. So for example, you have a HELB loan, you have a SACCO loan. Clear it before all these other mandatory deductions come in so that you don't go under the 1/3 rule. How are you supposed to do that? I mean, if there were a way to do that, hadn't you done it? Si ungekuwa umefanya? I mean, if you have money stashed somewhere, or you can access so easily as to just clear your whole SACCO loan, or probably a bank loan or HELB loan, wouldn't you have done that? Why would you let it just keep being deducted from your payslip pole pole? So I'm hearing things that for me are coming out as very insensitive when people are saying, clean up your payslip. I don't know what that means. Probably I need to be educated about it. And all this now boils down to one thing. I've really thought about it and thought, this whole infringement of people's rights, it has brought me to ask myself, do we know our rights? Because the other day I went to the office of Ombudsman and I was getting something from there. And every time I get there, their offices are ever full. Yet in our offices, in government offices, there are so many issues that the Office of Ombudsman, the Commission of Administrative Justice, could and need to deal with. But even when they come to our organizations for sensitization and they ensure that we get the procedures on access to information, because by the way CAJ works, they ensure they have plastered them on their website, they have pamphlets and flyers everywhere, but I kid you not, their offices are ever empty. Do people know that when you have an issue in a public office as a public servant, you can actually go to CAJ and report that issue? And particularly if you feel like it cannot be sorted within your organization, or perhaps you have tried to have it sorted within your organization and it failed. Do people know that? I don't know. And even if you know that, do you have the balls to actually go there? Ama unajiuliza, oh wow, I may lose my job, so wacha nikae na mashida zangu. Because there are so many things that go on in government offices. But I feel like the problems we are going through as Kenyans, a lot of it comes from the fact that we do not know our rights. When the Constitution of Kenya was amended, everybody was getting a copy, a free copy. And that was supposed to be with us every given time like a Bible. I used to have my own copy, ilikuwa inakaa kwa drawer ya office. And I never once read. I think I read it a few times just so I can say yes or no. From there, sikusoma tena. And here I am now, after all this has been coming up, I'm trying to catch up with the Constitution and just trying to see where are these loopholes, because there must be loopholes. For instance, today I'm looking, oh, and by the way, under the Bill of Rights, I have a right to be here speaking like this. I have, under the Chapter 4 Bill of Rights, I have the right and freedom of expression, where I can receive or impact information. So before anybody starts saying akikai huyu, I have a right, freedom to speech, of speech. Let me read you something from the Constitution. Okay. The Constitution is the supreme law of the Republic and binds all persons and all state organs at both levels of government. No person may claim or exercise state authority except as authorized under the Constitution. The validity or legality of this Constitution is not subject to challenge by or before any court or other state organ. Do we even know that the Constitution is for us? Constitution inakuanga yetu. See just some people or just the arm of government. The Constitution is for the people. All sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and shall be exercised only in accordance with their Constitution. The people may exercise their sovereign power either directly or through their democratically elected representatives. This could be the MPs, the legislatives and assemblies. And these are the people that are supposed to be standing by us. But these very same people are the ones, somebody goes there, yani tu mtu uko tu na akili timamu, and says we should start getting licenses to farm in our own shambas. Guy, ni vile sitaki kutaja majina za watu, hata kama niko the freedom to actually, because you spoke it in public, you know yourself. If you said it in public, then that means you have no chills, and I don't know why I should also have chills just coming out and saying your name. But for goodness sake, you want to start charging licenses for somebody to go and farm in their own farm. Not borrowed, not rented. In my own farm, sahi shamba yangu, if I want to plant lemons, if I want to plant God knows what, then I'll start being charged for licenses. Kenyans, is this the freedom we fought for? Our forefathers, this is what they fought for. What happened to our rights? Do we know our rights? Let's all familiarize ourselves to the Constitution of Kenya, which is the Bible that guides a country. Because if we do not, that is why we are getting into these situations, and people have nothing to say. Nothing to say. I'm so proud of Gen Zs because these people know the Constitution, these people know their rights, and these people fought for their rights. And I think it got to a point they realized, but they tunafaitia nani? Who are we dying for? Because when they are dying for us, we come out in public and say, oh, Mimi, I'm a public officer, I cannot speak against my employer. Guess what? Your employer is coming to your very own house, taking and saying, hii umenifanyia kazi ni yangu. It's very similar to somebody coming to your house and taking your 55-inch and saying, I want that TV. Now, pack it, I want it now because I'm who I say I am. I want your bloody TV. Na wewe unasema chukua, nitafanyia ingine kazi, na yeye anakuambia yes, and by 2 months I want another one, a bigger one. In fact, a bigger one. And guess what? Next year I want you to now start giving me more. Can you buy me now couches? Na wewe unasema yes, nitajiua nijikatakate. People, we are waiting to commit suicide, to die of diseases and depression. A question was asked that is very valid. The people in informal employment, how are they going to be paying for SHIF? How will they be deducted? Ama watu wa payslip ndio tunafinywa. Then again, even if they are not deducted because there are no structures as to how they are going to be deducted as of today, how will they access medical? Because nilisikiza DJ Kroba yesterday, and he has such a big cry that I think everyone else was like, oh, whatever man, it doesn't affect me. Mi kwetu hakuna watu wanaenda dialysis, you know. And he said the dialysis patients were asked to now bring cash with them. 9 Gs per every session. And the government is here telling us, the Ministry of Health, that hapana, No, it's going to be under NHIF still. Who is calling the shots? It's the hospital. At the end of the day, if probably mimi naendanga dialysis Kenyatta Hospital, kwani nikienda Kenyatta Hospital, I'll start calling Ministry of Health. Who will I even call? The CS who didn't know between how it's going to be deducted kama hustler fund. Huyo ndio nitapigia simu nimwambie, Madam CS, sasa niko hospitali nimekuja dialysis, wameniambia nikuja na cash, utanisaidiaje? Yeye ndio nitapigia simu. Let us stop thinking at any given time that a problem does not involve you. So whatever, men, no. Mimi, I have parents who are in informal employment. They are diabetic. They go to hospital to get their medicine. If there is no way for them to be accessing, to be paying for SHIF, sahi watakuwa na access medical aje? They'll need to be having every time wanaenda uko na makash. Because NHIF used to work just fine. What is going on? Why isn't anybody speaking out? Why did we look at Kroba and be like, Kayaki, umsesawa ifeke aki aliget to problem ya tu ya kidney zamani. Okay, sisi. And this especially to the middle class. Shame on us. That even in the neighborhood, one neighbor complains, oh, kwangu hakuna maji, mnaanza kuambia nuko kwenye luna, yani maji hajalipa. You can't defend them in the WhatsApp group, lest muonekane mwe ni maskini. Oi. Do you know the high and mighty, the rich ones huko, they know how to fight for their own. Most of them are the ones running big empires now. Watakuwa nakatwa SHIF wapi? Wameambiwa watakatwa kama hustler fund. Hii hustler fund yenye, the people who took hustler fund when it was new, they've never paid today. And the government has no means of catching up to them. Why? Because there was no structure for that either. Just like there's no structure for housing. Those are houses we will never set foot in. And what hurts me the most ni ati hata hii SHIF will never ever help me, Sylvia Njeri. Never. But every month I'll be going to works training, ndio mtu mwingine akuje achukue iende God knows where. And I kid you not, because it was said next year there will be another mandatory deduction, and the year after. By the time tunafika 2027 Kenyans, mutakuwa tuko na wrinkles huku sisi wote, because we are not willing to wake up and speak, because guess what? We are all government officers. Tumeandikwa na serikali. Unajua tukikasisha serikali itatuvuta kazi. Tuendelee kupigia serikali nduru, tuendelee kufanyia kazi serikali, tuendelee kuwa punda wa serikali, tuendelee kutoa pesa ambayo hatujui pahali inaenda, pesa ambayo hatujui itasaidia nani. Mimi hata sijui SHIF itasaidia, sijui. Aki imefanya paka I feel like I'm dumb. I'm like, kuna kitu maybe understand. Guys, let us understand our rights. It is why a cop will stop you na ingie kwa gari yako. Na hafai. It's in the law. Hafai. That is why a cop will come and start searching your things. It is all there. You have the right to privacy for your home, for your property, for your possessions. Your possessions cannot even be seized without a court order. But how many people know that? We need civic education in this country. Na mimi nitaanza kuoffer civic education kwa hii channel yangu. By force. Kadogo tu. But I'll offer it. Because guess what? If we do not learn, man, we are heading in a bad place. That's all I wanted to say today. I could ramble here, speak and vent and say a lot, and I didn't want this video to go past 20 minutes, which I'm seeing kidogo inafika hiyo 20 to 20 something minutes. People, have a very good night. Watch out for your mental health. Find somebody to speak to, because I know people have gone under 1/3 and worse. Kuna watu wakona loans zingine that don't even appear in the payslip because they pay them on out of pocket. Please do not kill yourselves. Please. Find somewhere to channel this. Talk to someone. Let's help each other in the best way we can, because Sahi mali tuko, this is financial genocide. Yes, this country is going through financial genocide. If we do not stand up for each other and for ourselves, defend and protect each other and ourselves, it's going to be a bloodbath. And I kid you not, a bloodbath. Let us go on our knees, fight on our knees, pray to God Almighty to come and just take over and show his might, that what God has called his, no man has the power to come and think it is me. No man is greater than God. No man will ever be greater than God. Fight on your knees and fight for each other. Pray for each other, support each other. Let us, yani, to stand as one. This is not the time to think me any effect. It affects every one of us, and never forget that. Have a good night. Subscribe to this channel, watch. At this rate, by then on, I need to launch a podcast because I need these conversations with other like-minded people like me. Otherwise, I love you all the time. Si nyinyi ninawasomea, siwasomei, but I'm just telling you. God has said my people perish for lack of knowledge. I'm giving you knowledge. Please let us all acquire knowledge so that we don't perish. Mtu ataishi huku amenona yeye maisha yake ni mzuri yeye na watu wao, sisi wengine tukiangamia. Tukatae katika jina la Yesu. God is a sovereign God. The only sovereignty is God. Good night.